All right, welcome back, everybody. Dr. Fred Schumann holds a doctorate in Asia-Pacific Studies and has held various academic and managerial roles at the University of Guam's School of Business and Public Administration, my alma mater, very, very proudly. And he is the new Dean of SPBA. He's joining me right now on the KUAM couch. Fred, I believe this is your first interview now as Dean. Please tell me
yes,
this is the first.
yes,
Okay.
this is my first.
Yeah, well,
yes.
Fred Schumann also has been a member of our business community for a very, very long time. Several of you may remember he was in charge of HR over at Pacific Islands Club for a very long time.
Yes.
Prior to that, he actually worked with my father over at DFS. There's a lot of good memories there because I was an 11-year-old like little squirt running around and everything, and my dad was like, that's Mr. Schumann.
That's right. And then you became a volleyball superstar after, as you grew. And
I played volleyball.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it was actually a pretty good time working with Dr. Jason Salas, my boss, and a great mentor. Man, back in those days, the company Duty Free Shoppers was owned mainly by two individuals, and one of them, Chuck Feeney, who actually started PIC. I don't know if many of our viewers know
I didn't know
this.
that.
Same individual started DFS, Duty Free Shoppers, started PIC. And this man had such a great influence on people like your father, Jerry Pears over at Duty Free Shoppers when we were there. And the focus was so much on giving back to the community, doing things for the community. And there are many people on this island that had been influenced positively by Mr. Feeney and his philosophy.
Obviously yourself too.
Yes, yes, very much. And so I'm really fortunate to be at the university where we actually follow that philosophy of serving the community. And it's such a nice place to be, and I know I have big shoes to fill. We had Dr. Anita Enriquez earlier before we had
Dr. Annette Santos, who was right here. I would actually say Dr. Annette Santos has really, really nice pumps to fill.
Right.
She looks fantastic in heels. A lovely, lovely dean. But I talked to several people. I was actually emceeing, as I was telling you earlier, the Guam Women's Club, their 70th anniversary over the weekend. I talked to several people from UOG and other people that know of this news. They were all like, they've picked the right man for the job. Dr. Annette was fantastic. Dr. Anita is fantastic. Each one of them so supportive of you because they know your track record, they know your pedigree, they know your genuine passion for doing the job, and they believe that you are going to take SPBA in the right direction. So, so given that, right, and knowing the rich history of UOG and being a part of that, and the momentum that Dr. Kreis has already set us on and everything, how do you envision SPBA moving forward, and how do you maintain that legacy?
Right. Yeah. It's like I said, there are so many initiatives from Dr. Enriquez, Dr. Santos. One of the things that I'd like to reinforce is the knowledge that we are a land grant institution. And I think this is something that maybe not everybody is aware of, but we, as a land grant institution, our mission is to serve our community, and that's not just Guam, but also our neighboring islands. And what really makes me feel good is after 14 years of teaching and spending time with students, knowing that many of our students attend UOG not only to learn a skill or not only to earn a pretty good salary as they become management or working in leadership positions in government, but they also want to give back to the community. And I hear this so much from the students that they want to go back to their island and do things for their home, and I hear that from students here. So that's one thing I'd like to reinforce is the fact that that's our mission. Jason, we have students now that have choices. They can go anywhere to go to university. So we have students that receive scholarships. They can go online and go to and learn at a for-profit university, which is fine, But what differentiates UOG from the others is this land grant mission. And so I really want to stress that. And by the way, that started back in the 1860s with Abe Lincoln, who wanted to see some development in the rural areas. And that's why they were granted land, and they were tasked to develop skilled farmers and teachers and engineers, et cetera.
I think that's the three things that, as a proud UOG grad myself, that everyone is instilled from the moment you set foot on the campus as a freshman. They're like, we're not just going here to collect your tuition and, you know, teach you a bunch of like theoretical stuff. You know, you will succeed, you will lead by example and you know, by the volume of knowledge you will accrue here, but you will also give back to your community.
Right, and that's something that's been, since my time, the time that I spent there, by Dr. Underwood and also Dr. Kreis. They're really big on this, and so that's an area where I'd like to place the focus is on serving our community. We have fantastic faculty. You know, our faculty members, you've worked with them, you know them, both in business and public admin, and I think they're ready to do even more great things that were initiated by Dr. Anita Enriquez and
Absolutely.
Dr. Santos.
So let me ask you, Fred, because even though you said, you know, there's so many different choices and so many different methods of education, higher education that young people could aspire to right now, there's, I guess, even a little bit of internal competition, because like when a young person sets foot, again, like at UOG, and if they don't have their career path at least mentally charted out, right? They could go into nursing, they could go into teaching, they could do any number of, you know, academic endeavors and everything. Why should incoming Tritons consider SPBA and give like a proper business and public administration education? Why should they give that a look?
Well, actually, I want students to go into an area that they know they enjoy. Oftentimes, people are kind of convinced to go into an area that may not be what they're passionate about. Fortunately, we have a lot of students. We have many students that want a career in business or in government. So that's a good reason to join us at SBPA. And by the way, we have the largest number of graduates from the university, as you know.
We finally passed College of Education, because for so many years it was always College of Ed and SPBA, neck and neck.
But I encourage students to take classes outside of our school, because you know the broader exposure you have to you know the subjects out there, then you're better able to make decisions. You're better able to adapt. And I always mention this to students in my class. My fourth grade teacher, Ms. Dorman, she said, the more you know you don't know. Right?
Very true.
Right? The more you learn, the more you know that you can't know everything, but you should go in the direction that you want to go, because you just can't know everything. Right?
I think Socrates kind of said like the same thing. He goes, the greatest validation of my intellect is I know I don't know enough.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely true. So speaking of your pedigree again, Fred, you've got such a diverse background, and you've led very, very large institutions, and you've helped out like in various ways to the island. What about that training do you bring to the table as far as being able to lead SPBA and, you know, kind of like set that vision? Because Dr. Kreis may bring you in one time and just be like, okay, Dr. Schumann, where do you think we should go?
Right. Well, I think it helps to have some experience for this type of position, to have some experience in administration and in business. I've had some a number of years working in an executive role, so that's helpful. Also, working in the private sector, I think has been a plus for me, and I hope that we're able to bring more partnerships together. I've got to mention this. We just recently signed a sponsorship deal with Bank of Guam. They've committed to 5 years of sponsoring our Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship.
Excellent.
Right,
That's
entrepreneurship and innovation. Right. So the things that we want to do, for example, and I think you'll get a kick out of this, Jason. I remember you're an entrepreneur yourself. You're an innovator. You're an early adopter. You were the first to have the Google glasses.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
I think you were the first person I ever saw that was using that. And so here's an example of the type of things we want to do. We're talking with Dr. Chen over at the College of Natural CNAS. Natural Sciences and Agriculture. We want to do some training for farmers. There's a sustainable tropical agriculture project where we use virtual reality equipment.
I heard about that this past weekend. Somebody was telling me about that. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Right. So we're working with CNAS, and we'd like to have a School of Business involved, and to encourage people for sustainable tropical agriculture, to teach people how to do things first with using virtual reality, and then eventually going out and doing the real thing. And I joked around
without damaging a whole season's worth of crops first, while you get your green thumb. Yeah.
Right. So they learn how to do things far more efficiently in a tropical environment, using human resources or water or whatever. And I was joking with Dr. Chen that we're probably going to have some heat lamps in the room, to get people used to the heat. But this is such a great project where we're bringing innovation and service, and we're putting it all together. If we encourage farmers, we address many issues that we face, like workforce development, food security. Look at the rising cost of food.
Yep, food
on the island.
That's also something that I think is wonderful, and I'm seeing a little bit more of these days at UOG, is multidisciplinary collaboration. Right. You see the colleges start to work together, because when I went there, in the 90s, it was all the business majors, we stayed in the A building, the College of Ed, all the teaching, candidates, they had their own school and everything like that, and rarely shall the twain meet. But that's wonderful. You guys are all putting your heads together.
Right. Yeah, we call that working across campus with the other schools.
You get a good workout too, going from
that's
college
right.
to college.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. So just as another example, and again, agriculture is mentioned here again, is that we're working on a project with agriculture to find out what people are willing to pay for locally produced products, produce. So that's a much needed research.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, and industry is going to enjoy that so much more, and probably have this huge demand for it. And they say, we need these numbers and we need this data that, we could, go with, hairs on the back of our neck, or just, gut intuition, or, we've always done it this way. But if we could actually take this from an academic, objective standpoint and everything like that, that's the kind of thing that transforms industry.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So we like to say we're the honest broker. We're the ones that will produce the data so that we can make decisions for our future.
Okay, Fred, before I let you go, we got about a minute left. So let me just get, not necessarily Fred Schumann, the new Dr. Fred Schumann, pardon me, the new Dean of the School of Public Administration, just as Fred, right? Fred, Fred the Guamanian. What is having this job now and being able to sit in that seat mean to you personally? It's very, very, very lofty responsibilities, but like I said, right man for the right job. What does it mean to you?
What does it mean to me? Well, it's an opportunity for me to do a little bit more, have more of an impact to help our community. I'd like to do whatever I can. When I was in tourism before, and I always talked about tourism to improve the quality of life of residents. And that's really what I'd like to see us do, work a little harder to improve the quality of life of our residents.
Very good. Well, Dr. Fred Schumann, the new Dean of the School of Public Administration from class of '96, and all of my classmates, we're very, very proud of you. And you've been a family friend of me and my mom and my sister, and my late father for many, many years. And we could not be prouder. It's really, really good news.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, thanks for giving us some of your time. All right, that's Dr. Fred Schumann, and we will be right back. We are talking about the weather with Landon Idlet with the National Weather Service. What is up with the rain recently? We're going to find out right after this.